Hello, this is Laon from Golden Memories. Today's story is titled, The Stranger Who Smiled at the Bus Stop. Sometimes, we meet someone for only a few seconds, yet their presence lingers for years. Perhaps because, in that brief encounter, we catch a glimpse of something pure, a kindness that asks for nothing in return. Today's story is about such a moment, small, fleeting, yet unforgettable. It was a chilly autumn morning, nearly 30 years ago. I was in my late 20s, rushing to catch the 7:40 bus that would take me downtown for work. The streets were damp from last night's rain, and the wind carried that distinct scent of fallen leaves, sweet, yet tinged with something melancholic. I remember clutching my worn leather bag, the strap nearly torn at one end. Back then, life felt heavy, not because of great tragedy, but because of the quiet weight of trying to be an adult. Bills, deadlines, expectations, they all seemed to pile up like unread letters. As I stood at the bus stop, I barely noticed the people around me. Most had that same sleepy expression, eyes half open, minds already at work. I sighed, checking my watch, wondering if the bus would be late again. And that's when I noticed her. She was standing a few steps away, an elderly woman, perhaps in her 70s, wearing a soft beige coat and a knitted hat that looked handmade. Her hands were clasped around a small paper bag, and she was humming something faintly under her breath. When our eyes met, she smiled. Not the polite, half-hearted kind of smile we exchange with strangers, but a genuine, radiant one. Her eyes crinkled at the corners, and for a moment, I forgot the morning chill.
I nodded back awkwardly, unsure how to respond. She chuckled softly and said, "Cold morning, isn't it?" Her voice had a warmth that reminded me of my grandmother, gentle, unhurried.
"Yes," I replied. "It feels like winter's already here." She looked up at the gray sky and said, almost to herself, "Even cold days can be beautiful when you're waiting for something good." I didn't quite understand what she meant, but before I could ask, the bus arrived, breaking the stillness. We boarded together, and I took a seat near the window. When I looked around for her again, she had already sat down 2 rows behind me. The bus rattled along its usual route. Outside, the city blurred past, coffee shops opening, school children running, the world quietly waking up. And yet, I kept thinking about that woman and her smile. There was something about it that felt like sunlight on a cold day. A few stops later, she stood up and pressed the bell. Before stepping off, she turned toward me once more and said, "Take care, young man." And with that same bright smile, she disappeared into the crowd. I don't know why, but as the bus moved on, I felt a sudden emptiness, as if something precious had passed me by. I wanted to ask her name, or where she was headed, or what she meant by waiting for something good. But the moment was gone, like steam fading from a morning cup of tea. That day, for reasons I couldn't explain, I arrived at work feeling lighter. The usual complaints and small annoyances didn't bother me. It was as though that brief smile had brushed away a layer of fatigue I hadn't realized I was carrying. Weeks passed, months, seasons changed, and yet I often found myself thinking of that bus stop, that woman's warmth, her quiet faith in the beauty of ordinary days. I began to greet strangers more often, hold doors open, or simply smile first. It felt like passing on a kindness I had once received, though I didn't even know her name. Now, decades later, I still ride the bus from time to time. My hair has turned gray, my pace slower, and every so often, I see a young person standing alone at the stop, lost in thought, burdened by invisible worries. Sometimes I smile at them. Most of them look surprised, just as I once did. But every now and then, one smiles back. And in that fleeting exchange, I feel the same quiet warmth return, as if her smile still lingers in the air, gently passed from one soul to another. I've come to believe that some encounters never truly end. They echo through our lives, changing us in small, invisible ways. Perhaps that's how kindness survives. Not in grand gestures, but in the way we keep passing it on. As you listen today, did someone come to mind? A stranger? a passerby, whose simple kindness stayed with you? Life is full of such moments, short, ordinary, yet deeply meaningful. So if you find yourself waiting someday, at a bus stop, or anywhere at all, remember, your small smile might become someone else's warm memory. This was Laon from Golden Memories. Until next time, may your days be filled with gentle smiles and quiet blessings.